Why saving money keeps so many people poor. Every month, Sarah does everything financial experts tell her to do. She skips expensive vacations. She brings lunch from home. She drives a reliable used car. She avoids debt whenever possible. And every payday, she deposits money into her savings account. Most people would call her financially responsible. What they don't know is that Sarah has been quietly falling behind for the last 10 years. Her savings account grew from $5,000 to $50,000. On paper, that looks impressive. But while Sarah was saving, other people were buying assets. Stocks grew, businesses grew, real estate grew, and inflation quietly reduced the buying power of her cash. Sarah thought she was building wealth. In reality, she was standing still. And she's not alone. For decades, we've been told the same advice. Save your money, build an emergency fund. Avoid unnecessary spending. Put cash aside for a rainy day. At first, that sounds smart. In many ways, it is. Saving money is certainly better than wasting money. But what if saving money and building wealth are not the same thing? What if the habit that makes people feel financially safe is also the reason many never become financially free? Millions of people spend their entire lives becoming excellent savers. Yet they never become wealthy. Not because they are lazy, not because they are irresponsible, but because they were taught the wrong goal. The truth is that wealth is not built by storing money. Wealth is built by owning things that grow in value. And once you understand the difference, you'll never look at your savings account the same way again. The belief that saving money leads to wealth is one of the most accepted ideas in society. Most of us learn it before we even earn our first paycheck. Parents teach it, teachers encourage it, banks promote it, financial experts repeat it. The person who spends everything is often seen as reckless. The person who saves is seen as responsible. And honestly, that makes sense. Saving creates stability. Saving helps during emergencies. Saving reduces financial stress. Saving can keep people out of debt. So why would anyone question it? Because there is a difference between protecting money and growing money. Many people assume those are the same thing. They are not. Saving money helps preserve what you already have. Building wealth helps increase what you have. One protects, the other multiplies. And that difference changes everything. Think about it this way. If someone keeps $10,000 under their mattress for 20 years, they have protected their money, but they haven't grown it. The number stays the same. The money doesn't work. The money doesn't produce anything. It simply sits there. A savings account is better than a mattress. But the principle is similar. The goal is protection, not growth. And that is where many people get stuck. They mistake safety for progress. They mistake discipline for wealth. They mistake saving for investing. Saving feels like wealth because it's visible. You can see the balance. You can watch it grow. You can log into your account and feel proud. But wealth and cash are not the same thing, and once you understand that, the first crack begins to appear. Imagine two friends starting with exactly the same amount of money. Both have $50,000. The first person places the money in a savings account. The second person invests the money into a broad stock market index fund. At first, both feel smart. Both feel responsible. Both believe they are making a good financial decision. Then time starts working. 10 years pass. The saver feels good because their account balance has increased. The investor feels good because their investments have grown. But the difference between them becomes larger every year. The saver sees small gains from interest. The investor benefits from growth, dividends, and compounding. Meanwhile, something else is happening quietly in the background. Inflation. Inflation is one of the most powerful forces in personal finance because most people barely notice it. Prices slowly rise. Groceries cost more. Housing costs more. Healthcare costs more. Everything becomes more expensive. And every year, the purchasing power of cash becomes weaker. This creates a strange situation. Your account balance can increase while your wealth decreases. You may have more dollars than before, but those dollars buy less than they used to. That's the trap. People focus on the number. They ignore the buying power. Imagine your savings account grows from $50,000 to $60,000 over several years. That sounds like progress. But if the cost of living rises even faster, you may actually be worse off than before. Your money grew, but your purchasing power shrank. This is the moment many people start asking a different question. If saving alone isn't enough, what is? And the answer begins with understanding why humans love saving in the first place. Because the real reason has very little to do with money, and everything to do with psychology. The reason this trap exists has less to do with money than most people think. It has to do with human nature. People do not save because it is the fastest way to build wealth. They save because it feels safe. Imagine someone offers you two choices. The first choice guarantees that your money stays where it is. The second choice gives your money a chance to grow, but also comes with uncertainty. Most people naturally choose certainty. Our brains are wired that way. Psychologists call this loss aversion. People feel the pain of losing money more strongly than the joy of gaining it. That is why many people leave money sitting in cash for years. Not because it is growing, because it feels protected. Banks understand this perfectly. Notice how savings accounts are marketed. Safety, security, peace of mind, protection. Those words appeal to emotions, not returns. The result is that millions of people spend decades protecting money that was supposed to be working for them. They become experts at preserving cash, but they never learn how to grow wealth. And over time, that difference becomes expensive. The biggest cost of excessive saving is not what you lose. It is what you never gain. Imagine two people each have $100,000. One keeps the money in cash, the other invests it. 30 years later, the difference can be enormous. Not because the investor worked harder, not because they were smarter, because compounding did the work. Compounding is one of the most powerful forces in finance. It allows growth to build on previous growth. A dollar earns money. Then that money earns money. Then that money earns even more money. The process starts slowly, then accelerates. That is why time matters so much. Every year spent waiting is a year compounding cannot work. Many people focus on avoiding risk, but they ignore a different risk. The risk of doing nothing. The risk of staying in cash forever. The risk of missing decades of growth, and those missed years can never be recovered. Time is the one asset nobody gets back, which means every dollar sitting idle has an opportunity cost attached to it. The cost is invisible, but it is very real. Before we continue, let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at your savings account and wondered why financial freedom still feels so far away? If you have, you're definitely not alone. Take 1 second to hit the like button. It helps YouTube recommend this video to more people who are working hard. But we're never taught how wealth is actually built. And if you're tired of hearing the same money advice repeated over and over, subscribe. Every week, we break down money, investing, and wealth using simple stories that actually make sense. Now, let's keep going. The effects go far beyond money, because when people rely entirely on savings, they often become more fearful. They avoid risks, they avoid investing, they avoid starting businesses, they avoid opportunities. Everything begins to feel dangerous. The result is that many people spend their lives playing defense, always protecting, rarely building. That mindset affects careers too. Someone with strong investments has options. Someone with only savings often feels trapped. They need the next paycheck. They need the next raise. They need the next bonus. Their financial security depends entirely on continued work. That creates stress, it creates anxiety, it creates dependence. And dependence changes behavior. People stay in jobs they dislike. They tolerate environments they should leave. They postpone dreams they actually care about. Not because they lack ability, because they lack ownership. The goal of wealth is not just having more money. The goal is having more choices. And choices come from assets, not account balances. This idea is supported by decades of research. In The Millionaire Next Door, researchers studied wealthy Americans and found something surprising. Most millionaires did not become wealthy through saving alone. They became wealthy through ownership. They owned businesses, stocks, real estate, assets that grew over time. Warren Buffett is one of the most famous examples. He did not build his fortune by putting cash into a savings account. He built it through ownership. The same is true for Charlie Munger. The same is true for countless business owners and investors. Over long periods, ownership tends to outperform cash. The stock market provides one example. Historically, broad stock market indexes have produced strong long-term returns. Not every year, not every decade, but over long periods of time. Inflation tells the opposite story. Cash slowly loses purchasing power. The dollar itself becomes weaker. That is why wealthy people often think differently about money. They ask a different question, not, how much money have I saved, but, how many assets do I own? That small shift changes everything, because assets can continue producing value long after the work is done. This is where the old belief begins to break apart. Most people were taught, save money to become wealthy, but wealthy people often follow a different rule. Save money to buy assets. Savings are not the finish line. Savings are the starting line. Cash is not the goal. Cash is a tool. The purpose of saving is not to collect money. The purpose of saving is to create opportunities. Opportunities to invest. Opportunities to own. Opportunities to grow. The saver sees cash as the destination. The investor sees cash as fuel, and that difference creates completely different outcomes over time. When you step back, this conversation is not really about money, it is about freedom. Why do people want wealth in the first place? Most people do not want a large bank balance. They want what that balance represents. Security, options, time, peace of mind, the ability to make decisions without fear, the ability to walk away from situations that no longer serve them, the ability to spend more time with family, the ability to choose how they live. Money by itself cannot provide those things. Ownership can, assets can. A growing business can, investments can. A portfolio can. The purpose of money is not accumulation. The purpose of money is creating a life with more choices. That is what real wealth has always been. Most people spend their lives trying to protect money. The wealthy spend their lives trying to own things that produce more money. One group stores value. The other multiplies value. And over time, the gap becomes enormous. Saving money is important. Everyone should have an emergency fund. Everyone should have cash available for unexpected situations. But saving alone is not a wealth strategy. It is a safety strategy. Real wealth begins when money starts working harder than you do. Saving money protects your present. Ownership builds your future.